But
Right as I hit go live, we lost Lloyd. Uh, I wonder if Austin knows we're streaming to his channel. Or he probably just doesn't give a shit.
we should just do like a week that he doesn't rock up, just an Austin roast, and see how long it takes him to notice that it was on his channel.
That'd be true. Or like send him like an invoice and be like, yeah, you owe us like $700 for what? For providing content for your channel.
Yeah, all that ad rev he's getting, all that fuck you ad revenue money he's getting. He can retire after this.
True.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to talk about today? I got some things in mind if you guys don't have any.
Go for it. I was just literally writing articles for 3 hours, so my brain is fried temporarily.
Damn.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wanted to talk and get your guys' opinion. So who would you guys consider to be like the biggest people in like the red pill space? Who do you think they are?
Ooh.
There's a strong correlation between the biggest people in the red pill space and the smallest penises. So let's see.
Well, I mean,
Wonder
who would
Woman
you
is
consider
true.
Fresh and Fit? Fresh and Fit's probably red pill, right?
Fresh
Yeah.
and
Rolo?
Fit, Rolo, yeah. That guy who does the street interviews, I was on his channel once. You know, the guy hangs out.
Desirable Truth.
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And anybody else that we can think of, Marcus?
No, I'm sure. Like, if you mention names and shit, it's probably gonna pop out. I'll be like, yes, that person. But yeah, I guess like Fresh and Fit is probably the biggest that come to my mind.
Is your girlfriend allowed to wear that when you're not around? Yeah, bro, I don't care. My girlfriend wears whatever. But like, don't you think that's
would you guys consider FitX Fearless red pill?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So, sometimes I watch these videos. Oh, Casey Xander, would you guys consider him red pill?
I believe so, although I don't know as much about him.
I consider him a marketer. And so I think he hits a lot of the red pill pain points. So honestly, my interpretation of him is he doesn't really care what works. It just seems like he's very good at marketing, and a lot of the red pill stuff is very marketable. It is my impression.
I'll be honest, dude. Like, what's so fascinating is that he can take those pain points and just make a 15-minute video on describing how nothing works except getting jacked and getting jacked and not caring. And he can make a 10-minute video on this, and he does it every time. So anyway, my criticism for the red pill space is it's entirely too negative. But I was wondering kind of what your guys's I guess opinion of it as a whole. I know Alex, you've had some didn't Fresh and Fit try to like destroy you?
No, they never tried to destroy me. We have some history. Like, I knew Myron before Fresh and Fit, but and I have roasted them quite a few times. And one time I called into their show, but no, they never try to specifically destroy me. They did try to get other content creators taken down, but I wasn't one of them for some reason.
I thought you had some issues in the past, and
the one thing they did is, I can't prove this, but I'm like 99.9% sure of this, is they got my Instagram taken down. But then I got it back.
You got it back. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so my issue with the red pill stuff, there's a Reddit article. Is this back in like 2011, by the way? It's a very, very long time ago. I think that was when the article was written. And it was like all the tenets of the red pill. And I was like, I agree with like 99% of this. And then when I saw the guys who were coming out of the red pill movement, such as Fresh and Fit, Rolo, I'll read one of Rolo's books. And I love women. And I'll finish the book. And by the end of the book, I'm like, women fucking suck. I hate.
Why do you torture yourself like this? This is like some
kind of all the books
unusual self-inflicted punishment.
Anyone who's like really big in the space, I usually like take a look at their stuff, see what kind of information is out there. Do I have to undo some of the information that some of these guys are getting because it's entirely too negative? And that's what I got from Rolos. I was like, okay, guys are going to come into my program if they've read all of this stuff, thinking that like women are just going to like backstab them and betray them. And what was even funnier about Rolo's book was he wrote a book there was a follow-up. There's 3 books that he wrote, and the last one was positive masculinity. It was supposed to be a positive book, and the whole book he was complaining about women. It was absolutely insane. And so when I look at red pill stuff, I see like a lot of good things that the people are saying as in terms of like fundamental principles that they rarely talk about. but 99% of the stuff that they're saying in their content that gets views, that gets clicks, is all negative towards women.
The
And
red pill is just a massive joke. I see close to zero positive things about it. And the little good there is outweighed by the bad. First of all, every single one of these red pillars is a massive hypocrite. Rella talks about don't get married. He's married. Fresh and Fit talk about never pay for it. They've been caught paying for it many times. They're all massive hypocrites.
like with sugar daddy sites and stuff.
Yeah, who say one thing and do the other.
Yeah.
Well, no, Myron's straight up is like, yeah, in a relationship, you're supposed to pay your girl's bills. Like I met one of his quote unquote girlfriends, and yeah, like the situation is that basically he like pays for her apartment, pays for her credit cards, but he's somehow not paying for it. I don't know. It's a really weird mental gymnastics they do.
It's in his mom's name.
They're all massive hypocrites. They're all massive victims. They just complain. Oh, so either they have single person victimhood or group victimhood or both, where it's like, oh, men are the victims. Men are just such victims nowadays. Like it's just bullshit. Or they see themselves as victims. But usually they see both themselves as victims and especially they see men as victims, which is also not constructive. I mean, it's like, where do you even fucking begin with these guys? They all hide behind the fact that they say they don't give prescriptions, as all they do is just give prescriptions. I
don't understand what you mean by give prescriptions.
So Rolla says this all the time. I don't give prescriptions. Means like I just descriptively describe the problem. I don't tell you what to do about it. Yet he constantly describes what he believes is a solution. So it's just like one like fucking, I don't know, disgrace after another with these guys. Yeah, I have like close to no respect for most red pillars, and I think they're all massive frauds and grifters. And I think their real end goal is just to get as much money as possible. And they're also like want to victimize men, which is also horrible. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think there are some good fundamental principles. I think when the red pill started, it was like about self-improvement. It was like bettering yourself, and it was like kind of waking up to like the mainstream lies that people talk about dating. I think that was good, but then it kind of morphed. I saw it turn into like the fresh and fit guys,
that was already accomplished by the pickup community. Like the red pill community came after the pickup community, and the pickup community already debunked all the lies about mainstream dating.
Okay.
That's not what made the red pill community stand out. I think it was I think what made them, number one, is they were hitting on pain points, and they were like, I think what made them stand out is men felt like there was someone who was speaking up for them, and that like, you know, they were just like, I'm tired of hearing about like how women have it so hard. I have it so hard too, which may seem tempting, but it's not a good mental trap to fall into. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, what would you say are some of the good things about the red pill? Like some good beliefs?
Yeah, the stuff that I saw was that, like, first of all, it was this is the stuff that I saw in that Reddit post, which was like, you can improve your chances with women. It is possible. You know, you want to, like, they talk about looks a lot there. So I think maximizing.
That's also a pickup belief, though. Like that the pickup community was already saying that way before the red pill community.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. They were saying that too. I think there was, you know, maybe some overlap with what they were saying as well. And then it was like, hey, look, you know, women aren't all these like cute and cuddly creatures that, you know, sometimes people make them out to be. Like, they do make decisions based off of what is going to be the best thing for them. Because as people, they're going to be selfish creatures, and what they go for isn't always going to be, you know, the nice guy that everybody tells you to be when you're growing up. In fact, that can actually, you know, make your chances harder if you do it in the wrong way. So I think those things were good. But then they take those principles and then they just list a litany of examples of like guys who have gotten screwed over in a divorce, you know, women cheating on men, you know, people like posting all these girls. They talk nonstop about the wall, and, you know, how women are going to be slutty, you know, in their early 20s, and then as they hit their late 20s, they're trying to like now become a saint and find a husband. They talk about this constantly, and, you know, I just think it's too much. It's too much negativity. It doesn't make people motivated to even want to interact with women. And in my opinion, if you want to do well with women, you should probably like them a little bit more than what these peak guys in the red pill community are talking about. So that's my general opinion of the whole thing.
Another common pattern is none of them have girlfriends and none of them have female friends. They only hang out.
A lot of them don't even believe in female friends. They say having female friends, you're a chump if you have a female friend, and they don't even allow their girlfriends, a lot of them, to have to know a guy. If they look at a guy, you know, she's for the streets. You know?
Yeah, I think
I
that
let my girlfriend look at like big beefcakes, and I'm like, "You will never get these. You'll never get these."
I think one of the problems with the red pill is there's just enough maybe correct advice or half correct advice that they can skim by with being so women hating and skim by with being so ineffective at actually doing anything. Because then, yeah, there's guys like Rollo that can point to just one little thing where it's like, oh, well, look at this stat. This kind of is true. And you're like, well, yeah, it is true. I guess like men are disadvantaged a little bit in dating, or I guess it is difficult. Like, yes, these like pain points that you bring up are super valid, but then that's just crushed with like 90% of like false statements.
Yes.
It's crushed with like 90% of don't do anything, zero inaction. Like to even say like, here's all the problems, I'm not going to give a prescription of what to do is fucking retarded to begin with. But then when you give inaccurate prescriptions of actually what to do, that makes it even worse. And then to hide behind, like, I don't know if I've ever seen Roller actually fucking debate anyone, right? Like, seems like he just hides.
Well, there was that one
He gets up
quasi
there with
debate he
Sartain's
did with
podcast.
me, where basically he needed Michael Sartain to tag in every 30 seconds. So, and then he insisted on a whole bunch of criteria, like it had to be on a fucking Twitter space where we can't show our faces or share our screens or whatever. So I couldn't play back clips of him saying the stuff that he was claiming at this point in time that he said he never said. I never said this. I was like, timestamp this. You said this. No, I did. And I'm like, what the fuck? Well, because you picked the stupid format, I can't share my screen. But anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, yeah, exactly. That's a perfect point. Like, if you actually believe, like, how long has he been talking about this fucking shit for? Like, how many books is he? Like, if you know this much about it and you truly believe in it, then defend your fucking position. You know, like it's that simple. But at this point, you must know personally, okay, this is total bullshit. But the reason I do it is either A, because it makes me feel better. This is where I think a lot of the creators probably start. Like, I think Fresh and Fit, like, my guess here is that Myron probably didn't start thinking like, oh, this is a good money-making opportunity. Like, these are probably some of the beliefs he's held, that women fucking suck, okay? And the only way to get them is to fucking pay for them or some shit, right? Like, he probably believed, but when you just get this reinforcement and suddenly now you're bringing on all these OnlyFans girls, yelling at them, and then all the fucking incels at home are being like, wow, that's so cool. Tell these girls they're worth nothing. At that point, it just feeds on itself. And so I don't even know how much of these guys believe their own shit that they talk. But yeah, the problem is that like guys eat it up, right? It feels really, and I think like that's something I'm thinking about more and more over the last few months is, how do we move? Don't worry, we're not going red pill. But how do we move to understand like the pain points of men a little bit more, so we can like, you know, the guys that are black pilled and shit. Okay, we're never gonna be able to like fucking bring them over, right? But the guys that are sitting there being like, look, I tried Tinder and I get no fucking matches. This is really annoying. And I went on a date and this girl just fucking never spoke to me again. I hate women, okay? But it's just the beginning of the journey to be able to have us not just be like, look, this is how you game, this is what you do. To have that moment of, look, yeah, it sucks. Okay. Yes, it's very difficult.
Yeah, they need a little bit of empathy
for a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then to like, so I'm thinking, I don't know how to do that, but maybe some content around, as you said, like Casey Zander, I think that's his name, right? He's really good at just taking a pain point and making a fucking 20-minute video and then like a sales pitch at the end without any solution whatsoever. I think the thing that we can do is have that like 10-minute pitch of like, yes, this sucks, but actually give a really good prescription of like how to fix it. So yeah, that's something that I'm thinking about.
A lot of these guys don't want prescriptions. They're victims. And once you become a victim, once you have a victim mindset, you don't really want solutions. You might pretend like you want solutions. You might even play at trying solutions, but you don't really. Inside you want to keep staying a victim. And then a lot of these guys are just victims. And then the reason that the red pill is so attractive is it reinforces their victimhood. Like, hey, it's not your fault, man. Just women suck so much. It's not your fault, right? And that's basically what's very appealing to the victim. It's really hard for me to empathize with that mindset. I can understand it logically, but like to me, the idea of being a victim and like blaming other things and just not having control of my life seems kind of sad. Like I've always been like, if I want to do something, I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna eventually get it done. And I'm not gonna just like fucking blame the world. But yeah, just
let's see if we can involve people in the chat a little bit. I see one guy who's like he likes Casey Zander stuff. Thomas C. Anybody can comment. What do you guys like about content like that? He said
I
it's
think
entertaining.
this
is the fucking problem. He just said
What's
it's
that?
entertaining, right?
It's
He didn't
entertaining.
say,
Yeah, but
he didn't
what
say
do they
I
like
like seeing
about it?
Casey Zander because it's really changed the way I interact with women, or I got way more matches, or I got this date, or like had this success in dating. I like it's entertaining, right? Which is like, yeah, I don't know, man. That's
Yeah,
part of the
so
problem,
I
guess,
know
so.
people that like literally watch his stuff. I mean, he gets consistent views, so like the same people are watching again and again. And I've talked to a few guys that have come into my program that like they said they used to watch his stuff like they would take it like a daily. It was like a daily pill, he called it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, tell me some of the tenets. Well, what are some of the fundamentals of Casey's game? And he's like, well, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. But he couldn't really tell me that many things other than like looks maxing or maximizing his physical appearance. Because it seems like the content that I've seen videos where he's talked about like any form of texting with women shows is like low value and will cause her to lose attraction. So I'm not sure what kind of positive thing they're getting or what kind of actions that they can take after watching his content will give them. But I do like to study what is attracting, what's keeping them in. If it is a negative victim spiral that makes them feel good but keeps them disempowered, how can we bring them out of it? Maybe that's not the right way of thinking about it, but a lot of people are getting, a lot of people are viewing it.
I think they have to want to, like with victims, they have to want to stop being a victim. If they're like a very mild victim, you can maybe kind of talk them out of it. But if they're like have like a pretty predominant victim mindset, they have to want to change. Like there's nothing you can tell them or convince them of. Like think about girls, right? Like obviously not all girls are victims, but like or a friend that you have who's just a constant victim. Like no matter what you tell them, no matter how much you explain to them or try to reframe things, they're still just always going to keep being a victim because they don't really want to change. At least that's my perception.
I think Alex, you're very. Oh, I was going to say Alex is he went through the black pill experience. I think he's over. He's over.
Black pill mentality.
You clawed your way out of the black pill well.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
Thank God that shit wasn't around when I was learning game, man. I could have easily gone down that rabbit hole.
Well, you debated. Did you guys? Did any of you debate like wheat waffles or any other black pill guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, how'd that go? Was he cool? Was he respectful?
He was generally respectful, but he kind of there's like two wheat waffles, as I always say. The one before the first retirement, the one after the first retirement. It seems like he's the only person that retires and comes back a lot weirder. And I don't know, it was just like he just became really weird after that. I don't know, he would like constantly send me messages, essays on WhatsApp about like random shit that he thinks I'm wrong about, like just having one-sided debates. Yeah, it just kind of came back like really weird. I mean, the one time we did that debate, he was like showed up wasted. I don't know, man. Yeah, I think I don't know his brain.
He's a young kid though, right?
He is young as fuck. He's like 23 or something.
23. Okay, cool. Yeah, he started this in college. Dude, he rated my face. He gave me a 6 out of 10.
He probably gave you a 6 out of 8 because his
6 out of 8.
His rating system is out of 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Why?
He gave me a 6. He said all these positive qualities, and then he's like, 6.
Yeah, he meant 6 out. He meant 6 out of 8, which is like a 7.5.
Okay,
slow down. Why are we rating it out of 8? That is the most retarded thing.
It's a stupid black pill concept. Actually, I know this because he rated my face, and I was like, "Wait, really? I'm a what do you say I was? I'm a I think he said a 5. I'm like a 5. You think I'm a 5? And then he's like, "No, it's out of 8." So you're like a 6.5. But some black pill idea
that 10 in personality though, Alex.
Don't exist. I don't know. It's just a stupid concept, but they do it out of 8. Yeah, basically.
Someone said because 10 is perfection that doesn't exist. But I mean,
gotcha.
then 8 isn't 8 perfection that doesn't exist. So why?
There's no logic to this. Okay, you're thinking about it too much. This is not based on logic.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna rate girls from now on out of 13.
That's a good way of adding some numbers. Yeah.
No,
bro, it wasn't a 3. It was like a 6 because I'm.
Yeah, bro. I just fucked at 10 last night. Really? Yeah. Out of 13.
Yeah, that would make things easier.
I used to rate women as a 1 to 5 system, the 1 to 5 system, there was like rules and stipulations, but it was like, you really only use the top 5 numbers anyway. So it's like you might as well just start from 1 to 5. And like, a 5 out of 5 is like a really high rating. It's like less than like, 2% of the population or whatever. And then a 4-star is like, this is where it's entering girlfriend material. 3 stars would be like average. 2 stars would be like, you know, not an attractive person, but maybe she has like one positive quality about her, like maybe she's got big tits or something like that. And then a 1-star is just like there's no redeeming qualities about this person. And then a 0-star was like a special category where it was a person who doesn't have any
It was
redeeming
a
physical
creature. It
qualities,
wasn't
and
even a
on top
human.
of that, she has a horrible personality. So basically, someone, just a general, an overall drag on the population. Like,
I don't know if I like this system because the personality should be separate from looks. Because you can have like a 5 or a 10 out of 10 who is a massive bitch and contributes nothing to society, and you can have a 1 out of 5 who, or even 0 out of 5 who contributes a lot to society. Like she takes care of like retarded children.
in this scale, it was personality could only hurt you. So if you had a really good personality, it couldn't help you. But if you had a really bad personality, it could take you down a couple
Oh,
stars.
jeez.
Yeah, it was
It
was a ruthless system.
I almost think the rating scale should develop or change like the longer you know the girl. So like I think when I'm coaching guys, I almost feel like there should be a scale of just like I would fuck this girl or I wouldn't fuck this girl when you look at her. And it's a 1 or a 2. If you get a 2, you open. If you get a 1, you don't open. And then after you open, you could basically like ask yourself that question again, like 5 or 10 minutes in. Otherwise, I think guys is like put girls on pedestals. Like it's different for us, I guess. But like otherwise, like guys that are sitting there being like, oh my God, this girl's a 10. Like funny enough, like whoever wrote that in the chat, like you are essentially now thinking this girl's way better than she actually is. So I think like having your rating system like 1 to 5, or literally just asking yourself, would I fuck her? Yes or no? Go in and do it. And then you can start asking yourself after that, like after you slept with this girl, okay, would I see this girl again? Yes or no? And then like eventually it's going to be like, would I date this girl? Yes or no? When you're 6 months in. And yeah, I think like it avoids the rating system a little bit, unless you want to like brag to your friends.
Yeah, so I get a lot of clients who will, like, you probably get this too, where they come after like one date they go out with this person and they're like, oh my God, she checks all of my boxes, like this is perfect. And I'm like, homie, if she checks all your boxes after one date, your boxes fucking suck. Like you need to have better.
Your only
you
box
don't know
is
this
as a
person.
vagina. That's the only box.
Had sex with me.
She seemed like she was into me, like
is human.
Yeah. So like you don't know the person, you don't know how they're gonna react or act later. Like a big part of the dating process is how she follows up. People can act cool for one date, no problem. A sociopath or a serial killer can act cool for one date, but over a long period of time, you start noticing weird things. Why is this person leaving in the middle of the night and coming back all bloody? Why is this person getting angry at me for no reason? Oh my
Why
God,
does she have
maybe
a
they
body
are a
under her
serial
bed?
killer.
Yeah, I think like
for one date.
Why does she sleep with an ex?
Yeah.
I think the problem here is guys think, because you said your boxes suck. I think what happens is the guys have like great boxes. Okay, that sounded weird. The guys might be sitting there and being like, she's really kind, friendly, and honest. Like that could be something they're trying to tick. And so I think that's a generally good thing to look for. But I think they tick it too early. They self-project this fantasy and they think, oh, I went to dinner with her and she offered to pay. So she's super amazingly generous and blah, blah. But it's that same girl that offered to pay. Like this girl could just be doing that because she's like, why is this guy not fucking paid the bill yet? What's going on? Hey, do you want me to pay? Like it could not even be generosity or anything like that. And it could just be something that she clearly was like, if she did pay, she'd be mad and never see you again. Like as you said, it takes time to figure out and peel the layers off and actually figure out who this girl is. As you said, anyone can be good. So the guys that are sitting there being like, no, I am like, I've got a great list. It's massive. It's a whole A4 page or some shit. I think that problem here is the accuracy. Like you just need to be careful that a lot of this is in projection and fantasy. And as Alex said, like as soon as a girl like sleeps with a guy, it's very easy for them to think she's amazing when she's probably not.
Right. I think one of the boxes should definitely be like, like consistency. Is she willing to show up, or is she gonna be like into me one week and then the next week she drops off the face of the earth and I don't see or hear from her? That for me is important too. And there's no way that you can know that after one day. There's just no way.
Yeah, I have for the guys what I call like a relationship triangle, which is essentially like a filtering system. So it's things to look for. So we're given the boxes to check, and then like how you'd be able to check those boxes and what to do about it, and also like how to set the right framing. So literally like the first thing is like, will I fuck this girl? That's the only question you should ask. You don't care about like her values, goals, anything like that. Like they're important if you want to ask her that, but it's like you're not ticking those boxes yet, okay? Because even if she says, "Oh, I really love families, I want to have kids," and that's something you want, don't tick that fucking box yet, okay? It's just all you're ticking at the start is, do I want to fuck this girl? That's it. And then so you build up and you filter these girls out. And so the next question is like, was the sex good? Do I actually want to see her again? And then as you start seeing her, it's those questions that you've been asking is, am I actually having fun hanging out with this girl? And then as you get further into it is like, do I enjoy her friends? Does she enjoy my friends? And obviously there'll be more and more questions as time goes on. But yeah, it's usually what I give my students. Otherwise, yeah, they just fucking fall in love in 3 seconds.
Yeah. And how do I feel in between
I would
dates
say that
too?
there's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No problem, Alex. You go.
Oh, I was gonna say you can always move things faster. Sorry, how does the expression go? Yeah, like you can always like it's never there's no such thing as too slow, but there's such a thing as too fast. So you can always like let's say like you kind of take longer than usual, you can still speed things up after enough time has passed and you really get to know her and take the relationship forward. But once you take the relationship forward, you can't take it back. You can't move it backwards. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Yeah, a lot of guys' issues can be resolved. I would say like the vast majority of relationship issues can be resolved, can be prevented with good screening. That's like 50 to 75% of relationship issues right there. Number two would be good communication. And number three would be boundaries. And number four would be, I would say, some level of self-awareness. That can prevent like the vast majority of relationship issues. But yeah, I think like with a girl, there's something that's not commonly talked about is like, is she a victim? Right? You don't want to date a girl who has a victim mindset. Does she have emotional intelligence? Is she kind? Is she someone that's kind to other people in her life? Is she always like fighting with her friends, or does she had friends for decades? Is she constantly swapping jobs? Like those are the things that I would really look at if I was like considering a serious relationship. But yeah, you won't find that out on the first date or even the third date. Like me and my girlfriend, we didn't start dating until like a year and a half in. That's kind of going slow. Like I think you can do it in like 4 months, but I probably wouldn't date a girl no faster than 3 months of us having sex.
Yeah. That makes sense. So one of the guys, his name's Uche, he asked, can you all talk about how to be a source of adventure? I prefer longer dates, but I run out of ideas for what to do. So I think he's wondering about like, what are some like good date ideas? This would be an easy question to.
The mindset here is just wrong. Your goal should not be to be a source of adventure on the date. Your goal should not be to entertain the girl or to give her particularly an adventure or something like that. You want to keep the date as simple as possible. The kind of adventure that you should want to have is the adventure that involves you fucking her. That's an adventure. But yeah, the idea of like, oh, I'm gonna, do this, I'm gonna woo the girl, and we're gonna have you don't need to do any of that, and quite often it backfires.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely true. I do recommend though that you do pick some stuff that you can have fun with. Like for me, a good date would be going to a couple different places, not being so focused on staring across and like talking to each other, but I want her to see me lead her to a couple different locations. I want to like play with her a little bit. Like one of my favorite date spots is I like going to like those arcade places like Dave and Buster's and stuff like that. So I love doing dates where we play games with each other and do activities. That way she can see me in a variety of different environments, and I can see her too. How does she handle playing and having fun? And that way we're not too like, I think if you go on a coffee date or something like that where you're kind of just like staring at each other and like talking the entire time, that doesn't really do a whole lot in my opinion. You could probably just do a FaceTime call instead of that. So I think going to a few different spots, but keeping it light for sure at the beginning.
I think me and Marcus would argue in favor of just inviting the girl like straight to your place. Plan A,
do
plan
that
B,
too.
and plan C. Plan D. Plan D for me at least is saying, "Oh, cool, we can take my dog for a walk, and then walking with my dog for 15 minutes, and then pulling her to my place." I used to do like drinks at a bar nearby, but I found the dog thing is faster and doesn't involve me spending money, so I like that.
And dogs
I think once
OP.
you're advanced, you can do if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. Like I don't think like I think if your game is good, it doesn't really matter what you do on the first date. Like, and if that's what you prefer, then that's totally fine. I think when you're a beginner though, you want to keep things just like really simple because just like the more complex, the higher the chance that you fuck it up. So for that, I would recommend either inviting the girl over or just meeting her for drinks. I think coffee is a bit suboptimal. I fuck girls from coffee dates, but I think drinks is a bit better.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool. Well, I'm sorry, you guys. I
I
gotta
agree
hop
with
off
Alex
right
here.
now
I
because I
think
got
it's
my
gonna.
call.
Oh, okay, no
Oh,
worries.
I'll stay. I'll
damn.
try and get it rescheduled so I can
No,
stay longer next time.
Yeah, for sure.
that'll be great.
Let's
Peace
That'll
out.
be great.
All right, we'll see you next
See you,
Monday.
bro.
Take it easy.
Yeah, I think on this, I mean, I agree. Like straight to the home fuck dates are great. I think like after you've started seeing the girl, so Alex, you mentioned like you want to wait like 3-6 months or whatever to. I think after you've seen the girl for a little bit, obviously you want to take her on dates and see how you are compatibility wise, like outside of the bedroom. I think this is where I'd start to think about what to do. Anything that involves like an emotional roller coaster, like all my best dates, almost memorable ones, or the girls like the most, weren't some like highly planned, we're gonna go do this thing and do that. We've been out of the club and some like crazy shit has happened and we ended up to like someone's after party or some house or some shit. Like it's all the wild things that are a little bit more spontaneous. If you wanted a date idea, someone out there, then little things like taking the girl to dinner and then just bringing like a little egg vibrator with a remote, and at dinner tell her, like, go to the bathroom, put this inside of you, and then you can use the remote during the dinner to fuck around with her. That's always fun. And honestly, actually, maybe I shouldn't say this. Some of my best dates have just been acid trips with girls. That's been a fuck ton of fun. But otherwise, yeah, at that point, it shouldn't really matter. It shouldn't really be a tactic. You should already have a frame. You should already have attraction. It should just be doing fun things you guys enjoy together. But definitely, like any source of emotional roller coaster you have on all those dates are usually going to be the best.
Here's an example of how I gave my ex-girlfriend a massive emotional roller coaster without spending any money. So we were driving from Whole Foods, and I pretended like I was actually a Holocaust denier. And basically, I kept saying things like, "I just don't know if there's any evidence," you know. This lasted until she started crying and she was in tears, and I said, "No, I'm just kidding." So she had that emotional roller coaster of like thinking that her boyfriend was just like some evil fucker, and then realizing that I'm the person she thought I was. And then I left it off on a cliffhanger. I was like, yeah, you know, obviously the Holocaust happened, but who knows how many?
But 6 million, please.
not that I believe any of that crap, obviously, but like,
I love it. This girl.
Yeah, that was my ex. We kept dating for like half a year after that. That was just I would troll her a lot. I actually do that with pretty much all my girlfriends. Although the problem is my current girlfriend, she knows my trolling so well that I can never like really successfully troll her. Like,
yeah, they can see through it.
She's always on to it. Yeah, it takes the fun out of life. Marcus, I actually meant to ask you, how did you meet your girlfriend?
It's not exciting. We just met through friends. So I had like a social circle thing going here in Sydney, and essentially like my best friend, her best friends, it was all like know each other, and yeah, that was it basically. Nothing too exciting.
Did you hit it off right away, or was it delayed?
No, she fucking hated me. Yeah, like the first few times we met, apparently I was a little bit rude and didn't speak to her, which I was probably gaming. I don't really remember, but apparently like she would come and say hi to me and I just fucking ignore her and speak to other girls. And so I obviously, built a bit of attraction, but yeah, she fucking hated me. But then there was a night where there was only like the four of us. So I started chatting to her, and then she was like, "Oh, now you want to fucking speak to me after you ignore me for the last blah blah." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But yeah, after that, things went well. But yeah, no immediate chemistry there.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend, we had pretty immediate sexual chemistry, but later on, she told me that for the first, I don't know, like 3-4 months, she just saw me as like only good for sex. Like I was just a pure fuck boy with like no emotions, like all I did was just fuck well, and that was it. That's like my whole contribution to society. And then but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with girls having that mindset because at least they're gonna come back and fuck me. And then if I want to date them, I can just open up more. Yeah.
What do you think changed? So obviously at first it was like casual, you guys were just fucking, and she's like, okay, it's just like a cool fuck buddy. What do you think changed for her when she was like, oh damn, this guy's actually really cool, I might want something more?
Probably there was moments of me being compassionate and caring. Like she would tell me something, and like like in her mind, like a typical fuckboy would just be like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, say whatever to get laid." But I would show like genuine interest and be like, "Oh shit, I'm really sorry. I was thinking maybe you could do this or that." There's probably just like moments of a conversation where she learned a bit about me, like learned about like I'm really close with my parents, or that like I started my own business, or that I had this debilitating disease, and like just learning things about me. I think, yeah, I think it was like kind of gradual, just getting to know me is what shifted her perception.
And do you think that you so at first she was like, okay, it's just like fun sex. Do you think
Yeah.
that's because of the frame that you set? Like, because I imagine you probably didn't let her know a lot of those things. I guess how much of that from you was on purpose, where you're like,
Oh,
okay, I'm
pretty
gonna
much
set like a
all of
casual
it.
frame here. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all of it. I set like a very sexual frame in the beginning because the way I kind of think about it is you can always go from sexual to romantic, but
Yeah.
you can go from romantic to sexual. So, I mean, you could, but it's much harder.
It's
Um,
difficult. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's just kind of I'd rather start off like on a very sexual footing, and then if I like the girl, like every single girl I've ever dated started off as a fuck buddy. I've
Yeah.
never had a girlfriend that we started off dating. It always started off as casual sex, and kind of that's just the model that's always worked for me, and I think that's like the ideal model in
Oh,
my
it's way
opinion.
better. Yeah. And the girls chase for that interaction. Like I think when a lot of guys just come out and say, like, yes, I want to be in a relationship, like the girl doesn't have to chase anything. Like I think it's super important to have that slow burn. Like it's been the same in all of my serious dynamics where it's honestly been like at least a year usually before anything like is serious, or at least 6 months, but usually a year before things get serious. I'm a big fan of that slow burn, because otherwise, as we know, like you don't understand the girls don't understand you start chasing, like you lose respect, you lose any power in that dynamic. It's just it's all going to be fucked.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think, yeah, like going back to what we said earlier, you guys make the mistakes of getting to relationships way too fast. It's like it's insane, and they also start relationships on really bad frames. Like you don't want to start a relationship with you like pleading the girl to be in a relationship with you. At the very least, it should be equal desire on both sides. Ideally, she should want to be in a relationship with you more than you do, but at the very least, it should be like equal, where you both want it the same amount. But there's a lot of dynamics where the guy's like trying to talk the girl into dating him, and just big
No,
surprise. Those never ever work out. There's actually a
no.
pretty funny story my girlfriend told me about one of her neighbors. So basically, there was this like one of her neighbors was like this couple, and they used to fight a lot. They were like relatively young; they're like in their 30s, and so she sees the girl, the chick, and she's with another guy, and then the neighbor chick is like, "Oh, this is just my cousin." So then like a week later she sees the guy, the guy who used to live with her, and he's like, I guess they were friendly because he plays with her dog or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, I broke up. Me and that bitch broke up." I was like, "Oh," she was like, "Oh, cool, yeah." He's like, "Yeah, she's been cheating on me with other guys." It's like, "Oh, she said she was with her cousin." He's like, "Yeah, that's not her cousin." But here's the really interesting.
uh,
So far, there's nothing interesting here, but here's the interesting part of the story: is that the guy told Natty that he was paying this girl $20,000 a month, and he believed that, and he wasn't an old guy, he was like in his 30s, and he believed that's the only way to have a relationship in Miami. And then here's the really
wow.
part. So the guy was saying, like, yeah, I don't know how she's gonna afford that apartment without me. And the Natty was like, so like I'm assuming you're gonna stop paying her. He's like, no, I'll probably just keep paying her. He's like, and Natty's like,
What?
why? He's like, I just have a lot of money. And it's just like the most pathetic thing, where there's just like a
That
guy
is
who
super
could normally
pathetic.
probably get laid if you learned a little bit of game, but he thinks the only way he can get a girl, and even for $20,000 a month, which is a lot of money, he got a highly disloyal girl. So yeah, just fucking nuts.
Dude,
Like, to consider
man,
that
the
girl
amount of
is a travesty.
the amount of like escorts that I know and speak to, where guys think like they've set up like sugar daddy baby dynamics, where the guys think like, okay, I'll pay you enough as long as you don't sleep with anyone else, And of course, the girl's like, "Yeah, sure."
And it always has the opposite effect.
No, it's like, of course they are. Like, you kidding? Like, you just can't pay a girl like to have loyalty. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't buy loyalty with money, and that's just what a lot of the red pillars don't understand. They think like, oh, if you pay her, there's always going to be someone who's willing to pay more for bills. There's always someone who's willing to give her more money. You'll never be like, there's always going to be a richer guy that's going to come along.
Yeah.
That's not good glue. That's not going to hold the relationship together. In fact, it's not going to hold the relationship for shit.
No.
You need ideally what you would want is number one is sexual attraction, sexual investment, emotional investment, and I would say just general like relationship investment where she's like just invested into this relationship with you. She's emotionally invested in you. She respects you. She admires you. She thinks you're rare. Just not in terms of like money, but she thinks you're rare in terms of like your quality. Like you're just wow, like this guy's just amazing. This guy's not like any other guy I've met. Like that's what's going to hold the relationship together. But it's not if the girl's like just like a fucking 3 or 4, it doesn't matter. That it won't do anything. But with the right girl, that can hold the relationship together successfully.
Yeah, and I don't think there's even a problem with guys that have money or potentially like use money. The issue is if like you think that's your only sole thing, right? Like you can build attraction when a girl's like, oh, this guy's really successful and has a lot of money. And like, yes, maybe it does help me a little bit financially. But if you're just being like, hey, I'm going to pay you, you just not only do you not have any other requirements, but it takes away from those. The analogous example in the club would be, is it okay to have enough money to pay for a girl's drink? Of course, that's completely fine. If you're on a date with a girl, you're hanging out and you want to buy her a fucking $50 cocktail or something, that's fine. But if you just go up to a girl in a club and you're like, hey, I want to buy you the most expensive cocktail at this place, come with me. She immediately, not only do you not have the other qualities, but she puts you in a box where you can't have those other qualities. Yeah, the minute she thinks like, okay, this is just a guy I get money off. Now, like she kind of, it's hard to find that. It's like the minute you friend zone someone, like the minute I friend zone a girl, there's no coming back from that. If I just see you as a friend and we're having fun like that, it's really hard for me to change that. I want to fuck you at any point. So it's the exact same with the money. You just got to be careful with it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think that there's a correct way to use money to improve your dating life if you want. Like the correct way is the way Dan Bilzerian did it, which is he used the money to finance a lifestyle that was attractive to women. It's more complex though than just paying a girl, right? It's more intricate, it's more complex, it requires more nuance. But the reason it works for Dan Bilzerian is like whatever. There's many valid criticisms of him, but he is fairly smooth, right? Like when you see him talk, you know he's not autistic. Like he has some riz. I think there's no denying that. Exactly how much, I don't know, but he's not like a social autist like Bill Gates or something like that, or Elon Musk. So
exactly.
And if he didn't have that, then I think he would struggle a lot more. But yeah, having that like kind of like, you don't need this, but if you're like, I have fucking way too much money and I just want to improve my odds of getting pussy, then you would do the Dan Bilzerian method where you would just use it to create a lifestyle that's attractive to women.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know if you know, I coach for him in his course and he talks about this a lot. And I think he's got the personality that's very suited for a guy that has a lot of money, because he is fairly like, I would almost describe as introverted, but fairly like low effort, right? He just kind of sits around. And so he can throw a bunch of money on a huge yacht, throw a big party or some shit. But because his personality is so, I don't give a fuck, and I'm just going to sit around here. Like his videographer will literally go up to the girls and be like, Dan is not going to go and speak to any of you. So if you want to speak to him, go up to him, okay? Don't sit here and think he's going to come over to you. It's not going to happen. And so he'll just be on this boat. And so all the girls come up to him. He's fairly just chill. And as you said, like I don't think he's incredibly charismatic, or, you know, I would describe, even though I hate him, would be like Andrew Tate or his brother. Like I feel like they're fairly charismatic. Yeah, Bilzerian's just like chill. He's just like, doesn't give a fuck, and then he's just like low effort and chill. And so if you can use your money in that sense, then yeah, it's super powerful. But it's the guys that try to, the pain comes out of the huge neediness. It's like, I will get you this boat, please like me. Whereas Dan's like, I've got a cool boat, I'm gonna have some fun. If some hot girls want to come, then come. Yeah, I think it's a big difference.
Yeah, and also low self-esteem, like just thinking that you yourself are not enough. That like the main thing that you have to offer is money, which is most like 99.9% of the case with the guy in the story. Is like he just thinks like yeah, I'm just not enough. Like, like the only way I can get a girl to like me is if I spend $20,000 on her a month, right? And ironically, that gets like, while a girl may pretend like she likes you for that, deep down inside, she's not going to respect you. And if a girl doesn't respect you, she's not going to truly like you. I think that's. But anyway, this kind of leads us to this question, Markus. Do you think Bilzerian is anti-Semitic?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at any of his podcasts and read what he says, he sounds pretty anti-Jew. So yes, probably.
I would actually somewhat disagree with you here. Like, I think he went way too far down like the fucking Palestinian rabbit hole. I mean, there's a lot of elements of truism to it. Like, Palestinians have had it pretty tough, but I think he went like way too far down that side of the rabbit hole. But when I hear him talk, I don't hear a hatred for Jewish people. I hear like a hatred for Israel, and I hear a hatred for the behavior of some Jewish people, right? But I don't know. I just never felt that hatred towards Jews that you see, for example, in someone like Nick Fuentes or whatever. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've only seen a couple of things. But yeah, it depends how you define anti-Semitic. I don't know. Like, does he probably believe a lot of the thoughts around Jews sticking together or having their hands in a lot of parts of the world and things like that? It sounds like he does believe in those theories.
Well, we Jews do stick together. There's no. I mean, most people do. Like, Italians stick together, but Jews definitely stick together to some extent, right? Like, I can,
yeah, that's true to some extent. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. When a woman is on hormonal birth control, does that change her attraction level for different kinds of men? I don't know. What do you think about this?
Oh, dude, I read a study. I'll need to look this up again. So I read one study that said yes. And then I remember years later, I read another study that said no. So I actually don't know what the consensus on this is. I'll need to look it up again. From personal experience, I don't fucking know. I don't have enough personal experience to A/B test and figure out what girls are on birth control and is she more attractive? I don't know. You need a study for that. The personal experience, I don't think can show you this. But yeah, I'll need to relook at the data and actually see. I can check with ChatGPT.
I doubt it makes a huge difference. It might make a bit of a difference, but I think it's an irrelevant question because there's no way for you to take advantage of that. Hey, before we continue this conversation, can you get on birth control so I have a better shot?
Yeah.
Am I banned? No, you are not, sir. All right. Okay. Straw bans all over the place. Rolo got married 30 years ago. That has nothing to do with choosing marriage in 2025. Yes, it does. Because while there are some changes, people are people. People have not radically changed in the last 30 years. Technology has changed and culture has changed, but people themselves have not changed radically.
Oh, you froze up for me.
Oh, can you hear me now? Hello?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I got you now.
Yeah, I was saying that people 30 years ago weren't radically different than people are now. People's culture has changed and technology has changed, but people themselves have not radically changed. There's still good people, there's still bad people, there's still loyal people, there's still unloyal people. So there's no such thing as marriage was a good idea 30 years ago, but it's a horrible idea now. It's either a bad idea or it's a neutral idea or it's a good idea. I always lean on the side of marriage being neutral to slightly bad. I don't really think there's any advantage to men getting married. But with that being said, there's a chance that I might get married one day. I don't know. It's mostly something you would do probably for your family and shit like that. At least when you're secular like me.
So is Rollo come out and said that if he wasn't married yet, that after 30 years that he wouldn't get married now in 2025? I'm curious what his arguments against marriage actually are. Because I get this guy's point. There might be an example of something where you say, okay, it was okay a long time ago, but I wouldn't do it now. Yeah, I could understand that if more knowledge and things come out. But again, then the argument would have to be fleshed out a little bit here, where you say what he actually doesn't like about marriage. But yeah, anyway. The problem is I don't think you'd argue that.
Since women have the choice of leaving you at any time for any reason, just as a side note, you also have the choice of leaving her at any time for any reason. How serious do you place energy providing high value sex or keeping her chasing you the entire. I mean, I think that having good sex is important. I don't like sweat it though. I don't think like, okay, how am I gonna, how am I gonna keep this girl around? I'm gonna give her this or that. I just like kind of just have fun. But yeah, like you should be having good sex just as part of whatever the dating process.
I mean, if you went up to a girl and you said, okay, in box A is $1 million, okay, and in box D is chlamydia, okay, you have a choice. Which one do you want? Like, sure, it's a choice, but we know every single fucking time the girl is picking $1 million over getting chlamydia, okay? So, yes, technically a girl's got a choice to leave every fucking time, but you can, if you have an amazing relationship, you guys get along really well, she's chasing you, she sees you as super high value, she puts you above herself, if you're having incredible sex, if you, what did you say here? High value sex, great dates, keeping you chasing the entire time, then you're always going to be box A. Okay, she might technically have a choice, but she's always going to fucking choose you. So, yes, you have an influence on what those boxes look like. I'm going to make sure the box A, which is me, is going to be as high value and as amazing as possible. So I will put effort into making sure we have great sex. I will put effort into making sure that she knows the type of man I am, and to make sure that she's chasing, and whatever else is going to make the relationship a good dynamic between the two of you. To sit here and say like, well, she has a choice, so I don't care what box A or box B looks like. You have a huge fucking influence over this. Arguably, a bigger influence than anything else is the dyadic relationship that you have. So yeah, of course, put the effort in.
Yeah, I think effort is good, but you don't want to also be like sweating this, like, because that turns into desperation or neediness. You don't want to be worried too, like, oh shit, am I going to lose her? Am I fucking things up? Like, you don't want to approach it from that perspective mentally.
100%. Mindset matters here, of course. But I think, honestly, the mindset he's invoking is worse. I think the mindset of, I'm not even going to try because none of it fucking matters anyway, and I can't do anything to prevent this, is probably a more weak mindset than a guy that is desperately trying to chase a girl. Like, they're both bad. I just think like that one's worse. Obviously, you want to come from a place where you just say, I want to have an incredible fucking relationship where I want to be happy. Like, even when it comes to my friendships, like if I ask you the question like, hey, your friend's having a bad day, he calls you up, would you put in the effort to answer that call and chat to him? Like, of course you would. Like, would you put in the effort to catch up with your friends? Like, of course you would. Like, every relationship requires some level of effort, but as Alex said, it just depends where it's coming from. I didn't see this because I'm like desperate for my friendship or some shit. I just want to live a happy life with great connections and fucking cool people around me. Yeah. And if I'm in a relationship, I want that relationship to be as amazing as possible. And when it is, like, the chance of her choosing to fucking leave you is negligible. It doesn't matter.
Hmm. How aggressive dominant are you with touching on first date? I rely heavily on it to build attraction, but I've heard various coaches boast they don't need to escalate till she's at your place. BS. Would depend on the situation, but I definitely touched the girl before we're back in my place. But there's multiple ways to do this. You can build sexual tension without actually touching her. But yeah, I think at least some level of touching is good. I don't know. What's your position on this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you should escalate before you get back to your place. There are some guys that are going to do absolutely nothing. You get back to your place and they try to flop out their dick. Nothing feels smooth about that whatsoever. It's you can get away with it, of course, like it can work now and again, but usually what you'll get is the girl will feel that like huge plateau and then a massive buildup, and you'll also feel like you're making a big move. It will make you probably a little bit more nervous too, and it's just not very smooth. Girls are usually going to reject that. What I prefer to do is have a slow escalation throughout the date. Now, that can involve touching, sure. I just think it's way better and way easier, like verbally. So I'd incorporate that a lot more, because here, like the minute you touch, it doesn't tell you too much about it doesn't tell the girl too much about you. It doesn't build crazy amounts of like sexual excitement, and it's easy for her to pull back against that. Whereas if you escalate verbally, you avoid a lot of the problems there. So I would do both, but really focus on the verbal.
Here's an interesting question. I started dating a girl who says she has mostly male friends because women are too troublesome and gossip too much. What would you guys do in that case? It's a huge red flag to me. Well, I don't know. What do you think about this?
I think it's a red flag. But just like with any other red flag, When I say red flag, I think it's like something you should investigate or something you should be aware of as you build a dynamic with this girl. I don't think it's like, oh, she doesn't have many female friends, I'm never speaking to her again ever. Okay, because this could be a case where this girl just loves male attention. That the guys she's friends with are all guys that just want to fuck her, and she just enjoys that validation. And around women, she's incredibly competitive, and for that reason, a lot of the girls don't like her, and she's probably a bit bitchy around them. That's probably the most likely scenario. But I've met a lot of girls that have like male friends and not many female friends, and they're actually just a little bit shy and insecure, and the female people they're around usually just like bully her a little bit. That's going to be more rare, so that's why like it's probably a bit of a red flag. I'd be careful, but it doesn't necessarily mean that this girl's some man validating fucking bitch or some shit.
Yeah, I agree. It is somewhat of a red flag. I think it depends on the girl's personality, like just how like girly she is. So, like for example, if she's like likes to play soccer, she's probably gonna have more male friends than a girl who likes to, I don't know, fucking make TikTok videos or something like that. So I think that's part of it. But yeah, I would also say it's not shouldn't be 100% a deal breaker, but definitely something that you investigate. But I think also it's okay for girls to have some level of male friends, right? As long as there's like clear boundaries that are set. Yeah, and I think that stuff becomes pretty obvious when there's not a clear boundary.
I think for me, I personally like very social, like calibrated, outgoing women. And almost every girl I've ever dated seriously has had like male friends.
Yeah.
And as you said, it's usually like people they grew up with in high school or some shit, or it's like their best friend's boyfriend or something like that. Like, I think if you get to the point where you just never want your girl to speak to half of the world's population, it probably is coming from a bit of an insecurity there.
Yeah.
And trying to manage that is not going to stop her cheating, right? Like, if she's going to lie about fucking another guy, then she can 100% lie about like having male friends or some shit. So yeah, I think as long as the dynamic is like suitable, then you're good.
Yeah. In a relationship, shouldn't the girl always like the man more? I've never seen a relationship work where the guy likes the woman more than. I mean, I would say in my relationship, we like each other equally. We love each other equally. Like, I wouldn't say it like I love my girlfriend massively and she loves me massively. I don't think one of us loves the other one more than, because both are like at maximum level of affection. So it can be equal. But I do think it's a problem when you want the girl a lot more than she wants you. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important for the girl to look at you and think like, damn, I'm punching here. Okay. This guy should be a little bit out of my league. But somehow I managed to get him, and like, holy fuck, like I'm so lucky. And I also think it's important for a guy to have like a healthy level of that. And I'm really hesitating how to say this because you don't want to pedestal her. But you don't want to think like, dude, this girl's not that great. Okay. Like, I could get 100 other girls like this tomorrow. Like, what the fuck? Because then you're not really valuing the relationship at all. And then the case is like, it probably sounds like you're settling. So it needs to be a case where you say like, look, I've dated a lot of girls. I've been with a lot of girls. I've seen a lot of girls. Like, this girl's incredible. She's amazing. I think you both need that. Whenever I think about like power dynamics or, power struggles within a relationship, then the girl has to respect you. Okay. She has to be able to like appreciate your point of view. She has to be able to look up to you. So for the guys asking that question is probably where it's coming from. So 100% yes. But as Alex said, I would argue you need to obviously like this girl back. Otherwise you're probably settling and it's not going to work anyway.
Yeah. The girl definitely needs to respect you. Once the girl stops respecting you, then everything else is going to fall apart pretty quickly. I think a lot of guys get confused at when they should eject. I think from an interaction, if the girl is replying one word answers, not smiling, giggling, is it fair to assume you should leave after 1 minute? I mean, this depends on the context. Are you on a date? Like, if you're on a date, then I probably would maybe see if she's shy and see if you can warm her up and make her laugh. If it's a cold approach and she's just like giving you nothing at all, you don't need to even wait 1 minute. You can be like, all right, cool, nice to meet you, and then leave. Although I think a lot of guys eject prematurely and they confuse a girl being either shy or timid or having a bitch shield for the girl not being interested.
Yeah, dude. If you're on a date with a fucking German or Ukrainian girl or some shit, like, holy fuck, if you're thinking that one word answers or not smiling or giggling is a bad thing, you're probably going to fuck it up with all these girls. There's so much context here, but essentially, there's a few things I'd want you to do. Number one, I just want to ask, is she acting this way because of you? If you're boring, monotone, asking like fucking interview questions, then of course she's going to match that energy. And then number two, I'd say just test before you leave, just test compliance. I've had girls, as I said, like, fuck, when I first started gaming German girls, holy shit. So many girls were just like, yes, duh, dude, like, duh, duh, duh. And then it gets to the end of the night. I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, hey, do you want to come home with me? She's like, yes. I'm like, what? What the fuck is, okay, let's go. So yeah, you can, so yeah, so you could just test, right? That's going to be a better thing to do.
Yeah. Okay. What do you guys think of a red pill narrative that you shouldn't date anyone older than 30? I think it's obviously stupid. If you're like 45 years old, I don't recommend actually seriously dating a girl who's like 25. Like, you probably do want to date someone who's relatively within your age range. Otherwise, you're going to have a massive maturity gap, and that's not going to work out. Yeah, like, women don't break once they turn 30. There's some very hot women who are in their 30s, even 40s. So yeah, it's just a stupid narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm it's fucking retarded. Yeah, like, there's nothing wrong. If you're like fucking 40 years old and you want to fuck some 20-year-olds, like, go for it. Like, I think that's also fine. But if you want a serious relationship with someone that you can like get along with, then dude, how do I say this? I've had a lot of like semi-serious open dynamics with younger women, and it can be refreshing and fun when you're on a date and this girl just seems like a walking TikTok meme or some shit. That could be like refreshing and fun, but there's no serious level of like conversation that's happening with all these like really young women, and it's just hard to connect on a deeper level there. So if that's something you're looking for and something you want, then I would encourage you to date someone closer to your age range, for sure. But I think either is fine, honestly. Depends what you're after.
How to be playful and fun in conversations with women without coming off gaming guru or dancing monkey. It lies in your motivation to why you're cracking jokes. You're a dancing monkey if you're using humor as a basically as a way to entertain her, right? That's your main goal. Versus if you just enjoy cracking jokes. Like, I legitimately enjoy just cracking jokes. Like, I've cracked a few jokes on the stream. I'm not trying to fuck Markus or Lloyd. So yeah. So it comes down to your motivation. And also, I think that another good way is just build sexual tension. Like, don't always be joking around. Like, also focus on building sexual tension.
Yeah, this was a big problem for me for a while, where I just enjoyed gaming, enjoyed like making the girls laugh or fucking around or trolling them. There has to be a switch where you think, I value having sex with this girl and building something a little bit more than the validation of her like laughing at one of my fucking jokes or some shit. There has to be a moment where you turn this conversation a little bit more serious, sexual, and you tone down all the like playful, fun shit. Without that, then you are just the playful, fun guy. That's all it'll be.
So what are some specific generic openers you can use at game to quickly pick a girl's attention? The thing is,
nice chromosomes, girl.
The thing is that there's like no pre-canned openers that are gonna be like really effective. I mean, like, I just say, hey, I just like to go up to a girl when I'm at a bar and say, hey, I'm Alex. I'll just keep it like super simple, but it's going to be contextual. Like, the best openers are going to be situational. So yeah, there's not like like, I don't recommend having like 3 or 4 pickup lines in your mind that you're going to use. Like, it's better to just go into it with more of an open mind and just try to think of stuff on the spot.
Yeah, I'd rather guys start thinking of it, because like, we always call it openers and everyone's like, opening line and what do I say and all this shit. I'd rather think of it as like, the question should be here, hey, Alex, what's a really good way to build a good first impression? That should be what you're thinking of. Because if I think about your opener, it's the verbal part, I don't know, what would we say, like 20, 30% or something, depending on how outrageous you, like, obviously if you go up and you say like, hey, I just want to fuck you, then it's probably not going to work very well. But the verbals, I think, have a small percentage of like what that first impression is going to be, as opposed to like what you're wearing, how you smell, like how tall you are, how you sound. If you decide to open the friends or just her, like your cadence, like all of these things matter so much more. We could give you like a verbal structure to say, you know, I like using some curiosity ones of like, hey, look, I'm so fucking curious. The girl's like, what? And then you can just say, where the fuck are you from? Or like, where are you from? Very basic, very easy, just builds a little bit of curiosity. But really what's going to matter here is everything else. So I'd be focusing on that a little bit more than just the verbals.
There's no stream that I will ever do without a question about how to approach girls in the gym. This is so common. My advice is always the same. Don't approach them in the middle of a set. Wait until they're finished. They look like they're not in the middle of a workout. Go in a little bit more indirect. You can, for example, if it's a gym that you've been coming to, you can say something like, and you have a note before, like, hey, I've never seen you before. I've never seen you here before. My name is Alex, or something like that. Go a little bit more indirect. Or you can make a joke about, like, you know, let's say she's like doing like really deep stretches. You can joke around and be like, damn, how do I get that? What's the term? How do I get that limber? Or what's the term for when you can stretch a lot?
I'm just thinking flexible, but yeah.
Yeah. How do I, like, damn, how do I get this flexible? Like, I don't know, you can make a joke out of it, but yeah, that's my take on it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's good. I like pretending like I fucking own the gym, or I'm like I'm there a lot. So like, hey, I haven't seen you around here before. Like, welcome. And yeah, just treat this like a social circle. If you're there all the time, she's all there all the time. Just small conversations. There are a few ways you can build it up.
All right, let's do a few more.
Actually, can I did you guys go live last week or no? I never ended up checking.
Last week?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Was there anything you wanted to talk over with the speed dating? Like,
oh yeah, I forgot we we did that. I was trying to put it out of my mind. You know, I was putting Markus in my mind. Yeah. I mean, it was like, you know, exactly what I expected. Mostly cringe. I mean, like, look, I respect everyone who tries. The part that pisses me off probably the most about speed dating is the fact that most of the people in the chat would never go on a speed date, but they feel that they can talk massive shit about the people who are on, which I guess they can. It's not like I banned them for that, but it's like, to me, it's like, look, if you're not going to do it yourself, then you probably don't have a license to talk shit. So that kind of always annoys me a little bit to watch that. But I guess it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it feels like most guys, just the common denominators, guys really struggle to just sexualize the convo and make it flirty. Like, guys are having conversations that are just way too platonic. That seems to be the common issue. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, no, I think you're right there. It seems like I feel like the biggest issue is guys can't even. A lot of the guys just couldn't even have a conversation. Like, they just seem to get way too nervous, or just like ask way too many questions. Like, my guess would be a lot of the guys, and I didn't ask any of them this. My guess would be like 80% of the guys that went on that didn't do that great probably don't have many female friends whatsoever, would be my guess. Because I would love it if a lot of the feedback was, you know, like, hey, that was a good conversation, I guess, but it was just way platonic and you do this. I feel like just as a baseline, like it wasn't even a conversation for a lot of the guys, unfortunately. So yeah, I feel like they probably just need some more social skills, like just going out there and doing more opens or talking to more people or having more friends. I think would be a big improvement for a lot of them.
You know, it's funny. One of the guys that didn't let up come on the speed dating, who's backstage, like literally had a full-on meltdown and now changed his YouTube channel to exposing PWF. And it's just like full-on has been doing 10 hours a day streaming just about how much I suck.
That's hilarious.
Just because I didn't let him on.
That's crazy.
Like ultra butthurt. So that kicked that saga off, but whatever.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, some toxic dudes. But there were a couple of guys that did well.
There
was probably like 2 or 3 guys that I thought were great. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, they're kind of boring for me because it's number one, it's the same feedback over and over again. It's not like unique. I think I would enjoy it like a lot more. I mean, obviously this is not practical, but like if I could get like various celebrities on, like, you know, like evaluate celebrity game, like, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio speed date game again, not practical, not realistic, but I think like something like that would make it a lot more fun. Or if there was like a big variety in terms of how the guys did, but it seems like the vast majority of guys just have the same exact issues, 2 or 3 of the same issues, and it feels like when I give advice, I'm just often just repeating like the same message with slightly different examples. Yeah, I don't know.
No, fair. What do you think about the guy that said something about Cat working OnlyFans or something? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he was successful with the first girl with I forget her name, but and then I think I don't think his intentions were bad. I think he was trying to like give her an egg, but it just backfired massively.
Yeah. I think he was trying to like separate himself. Like, listen, I would never be one of your like simp followers or some shit. It's like, yeah, talking to a stripper and telling her like, hey, I would never fucking come to a strip club, okay? I'd never pay a girl for money like that, like all your fucking like stupid clients or some shit. Which I think like some strippers might respond well to. But yeah, like I think it just felt like he was attacking her as opposed to the clientele, maybe.
Yeah, it's too explicit. You do want to communicate that, but in a much more implicit way. With like something like, for example, be like, oh, really? All these guys are paying you money? That's fascinating. Like, tell me more about that, right? Like, kind of like that is more of like a way of like subtly showing, like, well, that's not me, but I am curious about what you do. Like, wow, there's you have 1,000 on OnlyFans. That's awesome. Like, think about how many just fucking children are just coming out on paper towels because of you. Like, you know, like something like that where you're poking fun at in a very playful way. I think that's just a much better way of separating yourself.
Or just say like you've dated OnlyFans girls before. You got like friends that do OnlyFans or some shit. Because then like that's built in with like some level of acceptance, and it's also built in that like you're not like paying these girls.
Yeah, no, that is very true. I don't even know why I didn't think of that, but yeah, some level of familiarity with her world. It is good to just like know shit about like various professions and whatnot, or various ethnicities. So, like for example, if a girl does OnlyFans, I could be like, oh, are you part of the 1% that makes 99% of the money on OnlyFans? Like, it kind of shows that I know her world a little bit. Or like saying something like, oh, cool. Do you do just solo content or do you do collab?
That's a good one. Yeah,
like
100%. Do you have like a manager? Like, yeah, all these things. Like, even and I feel like this is like the issue with a lot of guys. Like, I saw opening and sets as a great way just to like learn about women in the world, because the minute you can understand her and her world, like there's just so much value there. Like the example I often give is just like where a girl's from. I obviously gamed a lot of like European women, but like the first time a girl told me she was from Luxembourg, I'm sitting here as like an Australian kid being like, where the fuck and what the hell is Luxembourg? Like, we've never heard of that. And she's like, it's a country. And I'm like, fucking retarded. But then like she was able to explain to me about this place. And then the next girl I met from there, I was like, Luxembourg. I'm like, what a shitty place. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the only good thing about Luxembourg is you got like some cool countries around you. She's like, yeah, that's actually true. And so, yeah, like the more you can actually just find out about the girl that you're on a date with, not will it help you in that interaction, but it's going to help you in more interactions after that. So yeah, 100%. It's important to be knowledgeable about professions, geography, everything like that.
And you can learn a lot from just doing cold approach pickup, like, or just going on dates with girls. Like, yeah, I'll like not consciously, but subconsciously compile. Like, the girl tells me, like, yeah, like you're right. Like, when she's like the first time I meet a Brazilian girl, right? Like, I can like pack away some of the info I learn, and then for the next girl, I can build more familiarity. Like, I can be like, oh, cool. Do you speak Spanish in addition to Portuguese, or just Portuguese? Like, most people don't know that in Brazil they speak a different language. Yeah, like shit like that will just, and you kind of just, I don't know. I don't know if this is something like the average person would struggle with, but for me, that's never been too much of a challenge. It's just kind of subconsciously compile some of the information I learn and then just bring it up with a different girl.
Yeah, it's because there is familiarity that builds trust and attraction. Like, when I'm overseas and you're in the middle of like butt fuck nowhere, and then you're at a club and then there's a girl there and she's like, hey, you're Australian? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Aussie. Like, where are you from? She's like, Sydney. I'm like, me too. She's like, oh my God, no way. It's like that connection you have right there, or that little bit of a spark or attraction, whatever you want to call it, you would never have if I was here in Sydney. And I'm like, where are you from? She's like, Sydney. I'm like, me too. Wow. Like, it's no one gives a fuck. So yeah, when a girl is like in Miami or some shit, or you're like, she's traveling around and now suddenly actually understands her, yeah, like you're going to be fucking.
Yeah, another hack is learning like some words in their language. Like for me, like the easiest is when a girl speaks Russian because I speak Russian fluently. So I just go into Russian, just instant comfort, instant familiarity, like just massive game changer when I start speaking Russian because I don't look like I speak Russian, but I do. So yeah, but like even with girls who's like for example, I meet a Brazilian girl. I only know fucking one phrase in Portuguese, oi gata, right? But I'll say that, and the girls fucking love it. Or in Spanish, I know more than a few phrases, but I'll just bust that out. So just learning, like, if you're into Latinas, learn some shit in Spanish. If you're into, I don't know, let's say fucking German girls, you learn a few phrases in German. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I think that also like can help.
100%. This is Barry. This is a guy that actually did well on one of the dates. The speed date was helpful for me, even though it was about to be boring for Alex. Felt high pressure being on a live stream, but still a moment to get feedback that I wouldn't have got otherwise. Cool.
If you guys really like these speed dates, I will keep doing them. Like I'll just suck it up. But like it would be nice if people could like share it with their friends and whatnot, so that I can see at least I'm getting some views from this. So if you guys want to see it happen, I'll make it happen. But like share with your friends, tell your friends about it. Make sure you show up. If I see that like, whoa, like this is like resulting in a lot of new subscribers or even some new subscribers, that's going to give me a lot more motivation to do them. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, because by the way, organizing these things, holy fuck, I don't know how you used to do it. I tried getting some girls on. Dude, it is way easier to organize a fuck date, okay, than it is to organize a girl to come on stream and do dates with you guys. I guarantee you, it's easier for me to set up threesomes than it is to get a girl on one of these speed dating shows, okay? So it's I had a bunch of girls say like, yeah, it'd be fun, and then like last minute like bailed, and even like Kat, who I got here, ended up having to like leave early, and it's difficult, man. Fuck.
It's a lot harder than it looks. Yeah, it's easier to fuck a girl than get her on a speed date. That's very true.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of them get nervous last minute. It's like, oh shit, I'm gonna be, in front of the whole world, even though it's like 150 live
Yeah,
viewers.
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
oh shit, like they get nervous and then they come up with an excuse. It's easier to work with other female content creators. They're a little bit more consistent, but there's only so many of those to go around,
Yeah.
But you want to do like a few more questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Someone from X. Awesome. When you have clients that live in a small city, let's just say Buffalo, New York, or Trenton or Savannah, since attractive women don't go out as much, Miami, how do you recommend actually find where hot girls are? I mean, like every city has like local bars, so you could start there. Also, obviously, dating apps are good. Facebook dating, yeah, stuff like that. I think DMing girls on Instagram will be more successful in small towns because a lot less guys are DMing them, I think. But yeah, what do you think on this?
Yeah, like going to Instagram and like finding some hot girls, seeing where they're going out and just like popular areas, day game, talking to hot girls, find out where they're going. And then like this should be something you solve in like a week. You probably even talk to some guys there or some wings and shit. It's not going to be that hard to find like what are the popular areas in your small city. I guess what you're probably asking here is what is the best strategy in a small city to fuck like attractive women. As Alex said, like dating apps is going to be good. Cold Instagram DMing, you setting up events here is going to be good. And honestly, like cold approach in small cities, you're going to get less hot women, but your chance of building attraction with these women skyrocket. Like I've been to small places like in Europe or even America, and the girls just aren't used to being opened. And that is the biggest variable of like how receptive they're going to be. So if you have a super hot girl in this small town that just has never been approached before, the minute you approach her, she's going to be receptive to you. So yeah, all of the above are going to work. You're just going to have less volume in order to do it.
Alex, Dan denies the Holocaust. Okay, I guess I changed my perspective then. I didn't know that.
What is it?
He says, Alex, Dan denies the Holocaust.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, I did not know that. All right, let's see what else. See a lot of discussion. Okay, when you have clients, we did this one. Let's see what else. What's the right age gap you would say is fairly acceptable? 10 or 15 years. I mean, we're going to mature. There really is no such thing as a right age gap. Um, I mean, I think that me personally, I'm 35. For a serious relationship, I would not go any younger than like 27 or 26, maybe. If the girl's like massively mature for her age, maybe like 25, right? But yeah, I would hook up with an 18, 19-year-old, but I wouldn't seriously date an 18 or 19-year-old. When I've hooked up with 18-year-olds, it's just like sometimes I'll just think like, wow, we are so different. Like she lays in bed and she tells me about like her like little TikTok drama or like the club. Like I'm just looking at it like, wow, we are like such different like places in our life. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue here is let's assume, okay? Let's assume that you meet a girl that is like super mature at like 21. Okay. So I've had this happen where in Vegas, funnily enough, I slept with a girl there, and after sex, we we're talking about like philosophy, and this girl was like incredibly intelligent, and like she was super mature, like she wasn't some like TikTok. Let's assume we're thinking about something like that. Even this girl.
Marcus, you cut out. We can't hear you. Yep, you're good now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. You just cut out.
Okay.
Near that.
Okay. So she's going to change so much by the time she's 25, like in the next 4 years. Even she's got a high level of maturity. Her views are going to change. Political views might change. What she wants out of life might change. Her career options might change. Like there's so much change that's going to happen that it's very volatile to try get into a serious relationship with a girl like this. Now, can you have something semi-serious and see how the girls, or something open, or can you like fuck this girl or keep it cat? Yeah, sure. Even if it's someone that is like a TikTok girl, 100%. But if you're asking like, what is the most reliable age or some shit where I'm going to be happy in this relationship? Yeah, it's probably going to be someone a little bit a little bit older, right? Let's say 25 and above. I'd agree with that.
Alex, are you aware of the nickname Alex playing with himself? Your critics can be dumb, but you have to admit that's a hilarious. I'm actually kind of not familiar with that one. The one thing that I thought was funny was this was ages ago, but I was eating on stream and someone clipped that and created a video and titled it "Alien Dating Coach Attempts to Eat." That was pretty funny. But
what did they title it? It cut out for me.
Sorry, what?
What did they title it? It cut out for me.
Alien Dating Coach Attempts to Eat Food.
Oh, that's pretty funny. I like the Alex playing with himself. That one's also good.
The ironic thing is that I've been doing no cap for like a decade, so it wouldn't apply to me. But yeah, I guess it's kind of a play on words.
Yeah, you got some good haters, bro.
I do have a lot. Alex, where do you recommend the best places of meeting milfy chicks? How do I pick good venues for that? I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I have no idea. I don't know, like the fucking playground. What the fuck? Milfy chicks. Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not sure.
There's just like some bars that like have attract an older crowd. So it just depends on your city, but there's going to be bars where there's just mostly chicks in their 30s and 40s. Also, dating apps I think are great. Just set the age filter to like 48, and you'll meet a bunch. A lot of older chicks who are especially looking for casual sex, they like younger men.
Oh yeah, they will hunt you guys out. Don't worry about that.
Alex, what's your diet like? I eat pure paleo. All right, let's do like maybe one or two more.
Cute. Would you say most guys are too direct or too indirect?
Indirect. Too indirect.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Marcus, would you ever get an arm sleeve tattoo? Yeah, probably. I wanted to a few years ago, so maybe in the next couple of years I will. I just need to like fucking commit to something that I like.
I had a girl say she's a lesbian, but still meet out with me. So, do you ever treat lesbians differently? Are they even real? They are real. They're like fictional beings. Yeah, there are real lesbians. Most lesbians are like at least in part bi, where they just prefer women, but they have hooked up with men, and they might hook up with a man still. Not all of them. Do I treat them differently? Not particularly. I don't know. What's your take on this?
My question is, if a girl said she was straight and then kissed her best friend, would you think straight is real? That would be my question. But yeah, I mean, if a girl says she's lesbian, she's probably like fully lesbian. I think a lot of guys get excited the minute they hear lesbian. They're like, oh my God, threesome. You just need to explore. Like, oh, when you say lesbian, like you used to be with guys or you still go with guys. And like, you can find out there's going to be a spectrum here. If the girl's like incredibly lesbian and that's it, then it's just like no chance. But if she's like, yeah, I still hook up with guys and stuff, but I'm kind of seeing a girl right now, or like I'm a bit into more girls at the moment, she's probably more bi than anything else.
There's this idea in like American movies, like American Pie too, is that like lesbians are like hotter than like and more like sex crazed than like the average girl. In reality, like bi girls and regular girls on average are going to be hotter than lesbians. Like most lesbians I see are not that attractive.
Yeah, lesbians are usually the least attractive for sure.
Yeah. But all right, cool. We definitely the show picked up. But yeah, cool. We covered a lot of shit. Next week we'll be back. James from Modern Day Debate is going to join us. He's been well, I don't want to reveal too much of his info, but he had some dating questions. Let's put it that way.
Oh, awesome.
So
cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, Marcus, you want to plug your channel or anything?
Yeah, Ultimate Man Project. You guys can check it on YouTube.
Awesome. All right, cool, man. All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.
All right. See ya.